And welcome back, everybody. I'm Scott. Here are the bricks, and let's go through a review. Today we're looking at Speed Champion 76918, the McLaren Solus GT, and the McLaren F1 LM. Released in March of last year, this set has 581 pieces with a sale price of $34.99. I bought this for about $28 from Walmart. It's currently on sale in Target, Walmart, and Amazon at this moment. It is set to retire in December of 2024. So for those who have FOMO or just want to have your Speed Champions collection just, complete, now is the time to grab this before it goes up to any markup, although I don't think it will. This set comes complete with two minifigures here. You have the GT driver and you have the F1 LM driver. The F1 driver here is not really much to talk about. He's very basic to the core. Has a basic hairpiece, basic face piece, no printing on the back of the head. Nice McLaren sweatshirt with the logo on there, but it's a hoodie on the back. So dual printing, but that's about it. And some nice basic navy pants, which are just no printing on that as well. Does come with the tool, and he also has a helmet. Fun fact, he was washed in the laundry. I left him in my pocket, and now he's a little wonky and wobbly, not as tight as I wish he would be. And here is the Solus GT driver, which has a sportier look, and I love this tracksuit they're wearing with the McLaren look of the color and the logo right here. We have printing on the back as well with the logo for the company, which is awesome. Does have a helmet, which I have on here. It does have printing on the front of the face and printing on the back of the face. Kind of basic head design, but nothing else to talk about that. And she also comes with a hairpiece, which you can put on, which is very fantastic. And has printing on the pants. No tool for this one, which is understandable because it's kind of hard to fit it in the car. Speaking of which, let's go to that now. And first up here is the McLaren Solus GT, which is a Trek-only car. I think it goes for about, millions of dollars. It's probably really fucking fast as well. It looks fast. Look how awesome this design is. Now, this one does not use a standard 6-wide car body chassis, which is kind of how all Speed Champions are built on. So this is going to be one of those constructed ones where you have to build a whole frame itself, which is always a better build experience when you're having Speed Champions because it gives you a better just overall build because it's not as boring repetitive as most Speed Champion sets are because they're not basing themselves off that same chassis design. And when talking about the build, you can see we have a lot of interesting things going on here, which makes this probably one of the better parts of the set. So you have these wonderful, wonderful curved angles here on these flat tile work on the side. I love the way this looks too for the front fenders. Looks awesome. I love the guard here. The split guard in the front of the car looks amazing for the front end. And then on the back end, the tail here is amazing as well for this diffuser. And you gotta love this spoiler as well. A lot of flat tile work here, but some exposed studs in the front, which does kind of kill the vibe a little bit, but that's okay. And that's okay because there are bigger fish to fry in this situation with this build. And that really comes with these two right here. Now, the problem is that this isn't really sturdy. It's very wobbly. It comes on both sides here. It can be easily moved. I don't know if that actually moves in the real car itself. So I'm not sure if that's a detail or if it's just poor design overall. But when stuck in there, it does look pretty good. But it does give you a big gap on the side here. So you want to keep it that way, which is kind of how Lego intended to be, but very easily knocks about. These pieces over here in the front fenders, those are not my favorite. They're very loosely held together by that nice little 1x1 piece right there and that axle piece, which it just kind of fits on right here. And to be honest with you, if you grip this pretty hard, those will pop off very easily, and those are two of my biggest annoyances in the entire set. And my second annoyance here is really just the cockpit itself. Once you remove this wonderfully printed piece right here, which is the windshield, love it, love it, you have a very snug driver seat. It's kind of a hard fit because you can really, and we're going to try to do this, put this figure in here with very limited movement, and she really can't have anything else with her, which is kind of hard to get to. Now, that steering wheel just did come off, and that's okay because it is rather easy to put back on. But once she's in, you just kind of push the steering wheel back down, just like this, and you put the hood back on, and there she goes. And that's pretty much all you can fit inside of there. Now, there's a good reason why they don't have a tool with this figure, because it's kind of hard to put one in there when there's such cramped space. It's a hard time just to put this hairpiece in there, which is usually how I keep all the hairpieces, without having the actual glass, stay on, because you really got to ram that thing down. So looks kind of stupid when you put it on display, but it's the best way I can think about it to keep that hairpiece with the figure so I don't lose it. And the bottom of the cockpit is exposed. You can clearly see anything can really fall out of there. So it's a good thing we don't have that screwdriver piece because it would just simply fall out. But other than that, those are really the only two major cons I got for this set. I think it's actually a pretty interesting build. It reminds me a lot of the Valkyrie set from the, gosh, what was that? The Aston Martin set, which I think is really cool. And you do have two printed pieces here, right here on this, for these wedge pieces right here. The rest of it is stickers, which is fine. You gotta love that orange and the white and the black. It really does tie the car very well, and it has such a low profile. It's a very fantastic Speed Champion design, and I just really like what we got going on here. Besides the two cons, I think the Solus GT is probably the highlight of the set. Which brings us to the disappointment of the set. It is the F1LM. And it's sad because the F1 is a flagship car for McLaren. It's really their first successful car on the market, and it just has such a prestigious history back to it. And this is the LM, which is the Le Mans version, and basically it's just a celebratory version of their first victory at Le Mans here. So it's just an F1, but in papaya orange. It probably has some other specs to it. I just don't really know it at the time. Of course, Lego did this in bright orange, not exactly papaya orange, but it gives off the same vibes as the original. Now, build-wise, it does use the 6-wide car chassis on the bottom. It is very generic on that end. And just like other Speed Champions, the rear end is going to be your most well-constructed. I really like the tail section over here. I do like the sticker piece. I like the tail lights. I love everything about this part. It's very, very, very awesome. Really enjoy it. And then you come to the sides, to the front end of the car, where just everything just falls apart. It really goes good, and then it goes really bad very quickly. On the back here, you do have a wonderful printed pieces. You have your wonderful exhaust pieces right here. You have a nice little spoiler, which can move. And then you have your wonderful, well-constructed back end. Look at that for the fastback. Oh, God, you gotta love that with these stickers right here. But then the doors, I'm just not. I mean, you really had to get that angle right for it, for the aerodynamics of the car. But I don't know what they're doing here, Lego. Like, look at that. That's just not really for me right here. I don't like that design. It's very wobbly, not really stays in place, and it's just... the quality is inconsistent, but they do stay consistent with shit as it goes continue down on the car. The front end here has promise, but it just was not a well-executed build, and probably my least favorite part of the whole build itself. It's held together by the rounded plates right there, which the one little, like the tube or the stud that comes through, and it goes to the other one, the 1x1s. It's held together right there, and this piece just kind of keeps them from not going too far in, which is just weird. It's so spaced out. It looks so gappy. I just don't really like it. It looks awful, and it's very just flimsy and unstable, and they use a lot of sticker pieces here in the front, which I didn't do that good job of, but that's okay. And that's pretty much it for the front section. I just don't, it's just not my favorite part. I wish it was the same build quality as the rear end was put into the front end of the car. But hey, the cockpit's pretty cool. You do have a printed windshield piece, which is fantastic here at the McLaren logo. I really like that with the LM. And you have that wonderful single-seated in the center driver's seat, which you can have a lot of space to put a lot of the doodads that you need. Have your shifter right there as well, which is wonderful. And your dude will fit perfectly right inside, which I think is really awesome. I'm going to take that piece out right there. Ooh. And then you can just put this right there, which is, like I said, a lot more room, so you have place to put some items, the hair pieces and the helmet pieces to keep them all together. So that works out pretty well, and I kind of appreciate that, and I really do love the line of sight that you have on this for the Mega figure to see. But I just don't like this part of the car. This is good. This is bad. That's the best way. It's very disappointing, and probably is the biggest disappointment inside the whole set. I think the Solus GT is the better build, and this is just schlock. I wish they executed this a little bit better, and it's such a damn shame because the F1 is such a legendary car, and I love to have it in my collection now, but it's just, damn, man, this wasn't executed as well as you wish it was. And that pretty much wraps up the LEGO Speed Champion 76918, McLaren Solus GT, and McLaren F1 LM 2-pack, 581 pieces, $35.27 at the stores. It's going to be a pass. kind of regret buying it. I really wanted it because it's McLaren and I wanted the F1, but the F1 was the weakest part of it. You do get a wonderful McLaren Solus GT, but you know, if that set was by itself, I don't think it would have been bought as well as others. It's kind of like the Valkyrie, just, you know, like it's not that popular, but it's such a good build that you have to pair it with something else to kind of get somebody to buy it. So kind of shame that it has to ride in the coattails of the F1's popularity, even though I think in this set it kind of stands out on its own as a better build and just a more interesting car than the F1, which is sad. Yeah, I don't recommend buying it, but if you can find it for cheap and you want to finish out your Speed Champion set collection, then do it. That's all I can say on that one. All right, I'm Scott. These are the bricks, and that was reviewed. Thanks for watching as always. And if there's anything that you want me to talk about or a review you want to see, please let me know in the comments. And hey, let me know what you think about these wonderful two cars. And you know, that's all I gotta say about that. So thank you guys for all the support as always, and keep on watching. Thanks.